My first love, who once hurt me deeply by cheating, reached out after 15 years. She's recently divorced. Her husband left her for a younger woman. She's 35 and I'm 37. Her ex-husband, 40, left her for a 26-year-old co-worker. They have 3 kids together, a 7-year-old and 2 younger ones aged 3 and 5. She reached out to me on Instagram, saying that seeing my face again brought her 2 tears. She said I looked better than ever and had aged gracefully. She found me through mutual acquaintances, and I decided to respond casually, just to keep things polite. But the moment we started talking, all the old feelings and pain came rushing back. I spent years trying to forget her, finally moving on after a tough few years. I still recall a time in high school when her group of friends teased her, saying I wasn't good enough for her. One of the girls later told me they all thought I was too soft, not manly enough. It crushed me because I was always there for her, but she let her friends' opinions guide her. Eventually, she cheated on me, making out with other guys at a party, including some mutual friends. She claimed she was drunk and begged for another chance, but the trust was shattered. I walked away. It was painful, but I healed, especially after hearing from a mutual friend that she'd moved on quickly without a second thought. She even dated one of my old friends. It was hard, but I accepted it. Fast forward to last year, 2023. She contacted me out of the blue, saying she'd seen me online during the pandemic. She shared how her ex-husband had left her for a younger woman and how it destroyed her life. He told her he had met someone new, finalized their divorce, and got his mistress pregnant. She fought to save her marriage, but it was over. She now wants full custody of her kids, though her ex still visits them. She said he told her, "It's the least I could do after all the pain I caused." During our chat, she admitted her family and friends picked her husband for her. They approved of him because he was responsible and took care of his mother and siblings. He wasn't especially attractive or charming, but they believed he was safe. She started crying as she told me all this. Then, she asked about my life, if I was married or had kids. When I said no, she sent me old photos of us, reminiscing as if everything was fine. I couldn't believe her audacity. How could she act like nothing had happened? Didn't she remember how she broke my heart? She chose her friends and their opinions over me, left me without a second thought, and never checked on me. Now, after her marriage has failed, and her life is in pieces, she wants me back. But I was enraged. How could she think everything was fine? Didn't she remember how she ended things between us? She chose her friends over me, walked away without a second thought, and never bothered to check on me. Now, she only contacts me after everything has fallen apart. Her looks fading, her husband leaving her, and using her. I stayed calm, but then she asked to hear my voice. She wanted to call me. I didn't know what to say, but I agreed. As soon as I said hello, she started crying. She told me she couldn't believe it was me. She felt empty, missed my voice, and said she couldn't breathe from the emotion. Her tears were real. I asked if she was okay, and she said she couldn't stop thinking about me, how I used to make her laugh, how I always had that smile. She even remembered the cologne I wore. Listening to her, I felt torn. On one hand, it was surreal hearing from the woman I once loved. On the other, I couldn't forget how she betrayed me and never cared enough to check on me. She asked to meet up just once. I hung up the phone. Moments later, she texted me an apology. I replied, "Sorry for what?" But she couldn't answer. She said it would be easier to explain in person. I told her it was best we didn't meet, especially with everything changed at all. She insisted, suggesting we meet outdoors. She said she needed to see me and that she had listened to the wrong people. She admitted her friends and family convinced her I wasn't good enough. They called me just a pretty boy and claimed pretty boys always cheat. She told me that's why she made out with other people at that party, to push me away because she knew I wouldn't stop loving her. Her friends and family didn't approve of me, and she couldn't choose me over them. I, being the caring person I am, didn't want to dwell on the past, but I could hear the hurt in her voice as she confessed she'd been struggling since her husband left. She said she had no one now. I tried to console her, suggesting she focus on her kids, meet someone new, and move forward. My aunts and female cousins had a different perspective. They told me she was manipulative like a wolf in sheep's clothing. They said a woman who truly loves you wouldn't hurt you like this. My aunt asked, when you were hurting, was she there for you? If the roles were reversed, would she have done the same for you? I thought about it, and the answer was clear no, she wouldn't have. Just recently, her friends contacted me, saying that if I truly loved her, I should give her a second chance. When I read that, I was furious. A second chance? What about me? She broke me, left me for someone else, and now they're trying to guilt trip me. I responded, saying, I don't want to hurt her, but she left me for him. How would you feel? Her friend replied, I understand, but just because she has 3 kids doesn't mean she can't love you. She loved you once. Maybe it's time to forgive her and move forward. You're not exactly young anymore either. My friend, who I've known 4 years, was the same person who encouraged my ex to move on and introduced her to the guy she ended up marrying. Now I'm wondering, if my ex really cared about me, why is she still talking to someone who had a hand in ruining things? 2 days later, I received a message from my ex's father. He said, my daughter is really hurting and just wants closure. Could you at least give her that? I couldn't believe it. Closure. Why should I give her anything when she never gave me closure? She left without a word, no care for how I was doing. I'm shocked. This is the same man who made it clear he didn't like me, yet now he's asking me to take her back. The same woman he cheered on to marry, the man who cheated on her. This is absurd. Thank goodness my aunts and cousins helped me see things clearly. Her father has the nerve to ask me to return to her life after she's been discarded, left with 3 kids, while her ex even told her he was a better man than me. Just thinking about it makes my blood boil. How should I handle this? Please, I need advice. What a mess. Let's see what the community thinks. Make sure to share your thoughts in the comments as well. Flow to Sinker responds first. Shut this down. ASAP. 15 years and 3 kids later. Now she wants you back. Forget it. The guy she left you for. Let her deal with him. The op replies, exactly. That's why I moved on. Her friends and family didn't care for me. They liked him and pushed her toward him, and she listened. She left me, never looked back, and now she wants my help. Her kids are a priority now, and I'm just an afterthought. She probably assumes I'll forgive her because I was always the nice guy. Timbersaw 1048 adds, listen, man, if you were to show this post to any professional therapist, they'd tell you this is textbook emotional manipulation. Look at your mental state now compared to before she reached out. She's already gone from making you calm to filling you with anger. This is toxic behavior. You need to shut it down before it gets worse. Give her closure. Tell her how much she hurt you, how much better you've been since she left, and that you deserve more. Then cut all contact for good. Oh, you thought that was the end of the story? Well, here's an update. I struggled, but in the end, I agreed to meet her. It was a huge mistake. I shouldn't have answered her Facebook messages, and I definitely shouldn't have let her call me. But I met up with her. She was already waiting outside the cafe when I arrived. I had my mask in hand and didn't recognize her right away, but she saw me immediately and started crying. She ran over and hugged me. I didn't hug her back. My arms stayed stiff at my sides. She was making a scene in front of everyone. An older woman passing by even asked, "Are you two married? Is he coming back from the service?" I replied, "No, just an old college friend." The woman said, "Well, she's really emotional for just a friend. You two are cute together." That's when I knew this was a terrible idea. She was overly emotional, and people were staring like we were long-lost lovers. I stayed calm and let her have her moment. We sat down outside, ordered food, and talked. She looked older, and she'd gained some weight, but I wasn't about to comment. She told me, "I miss you." My heart is pounding. We looked at photos of her kids. I told her they looked just like their dad, which made her smile, but I wasn't feeling the same way she was. She was acting like everything was fine, so I just went along with it. After we finished eating, I suggested we walk to a nearby park to talk more privately. As we sat on a bench, I asked her directly, "So, what's the real reason you wanted to meet up?" She paused, then said, "I miss you. Please don't get mad, but I need you to listen. I know I messed up. If I hadn't gone through everything I did, if I hadn't been with the guys I was with, married the man I did, and if he hadn't left me, I would never have realized you were the one for me." That's when I snapped. I couldn't hold it together anymore. I said, "So, let me get this straight. You cheated on me, kept in touch with the same girls who badmouthed me, made out with them at a party, and then left me to deal with the pain alone. You abandoned the one person who loved you the most, the one who stood by you no matter what. And now, after all that, you want me back in your life." She started crying and said, "Yes, I still talk to those friends." That was it. I asked, "So, you abandoned me and now expect me to come back after your husband cheats on you and leaves you for someone younger?" She said, "I understand." Still crying, I looked at her and said, "Do you even realize how offensive and shameless it is for you to suggest this, like I'm some sort of consolation prize? What exactly am I getting out of this? What do you have to offer me now? You cheated on me, lied to me, betrayed me, and chose those people over me. You had kids with another man and built a life without me. Now you think I'm just going to forgive everything like it didn't happen." She started crying harder, almost having a panic attack. "I don't know how to say this. I'm sorry. I beat myself up every day for what I did to you." I yelled back, "That's nonsense. You moved on from me. People told me everything. You dated guys I couldn't stand right after we broke up. You never asked about me. I saw a video of us together once, and you didn't even shed a tear. 3 years went by, and I was nothing to you. I'm not trying to hurt you now, but let's be real. You'll talk to your sisters or friends about this, and they'll say the same thing they always did, that I'm not good enough for you." I continued, "I loved you. I wanted a family with you. If you'd married me, we'd still be together today." She said, "I know." Her sister called, saying she needed to leave soon because of work, so we ended the conversation. I walked her to her car. She tried to hug me again, and I said no, but she insisted. Reluctantly, I let her. She leaned into me, smelled my neck, and whispered how much she missed my scent and cologne. Later that night, as I got home and was getting ready for bed, she texted me, "I won't stop fighting for you. You asked what's so special about me. Nothing. You're right, I gave myself to others, but I never felt with them what I feel with you. I fought it, listened to others, and chose against you. I've paid dearly for it, and I'm suffering because of it. You deserve a fresh start with someone younger. All I can do now is prove I won't stop fighting for you. I hope you can forgive me, but if you can't, I'll understand." That was the last message she sent. I didn't reply. She hurt someone deeply, and now she's feeling the pain the person went through, realizing too late. She lost the person she should have fought for all along. I didn't respond to her messages after Christmas. Then, one of her friends reached out to me on Instagram, calling me a pathetic excuse for a man. She said I was a coward for not forgiving my ex and moving on, accusing me of being weak for holding on to the past. She claimed that a real man wouldn't hurt a woman's feelings like I did, and accused me of being mean-spirited. The friend even said that if I truly loved my ex, I would have given her a second chance, and that everything I said about loving her years ago must have been fake. According to her, since my ex is no longer as good looking and is now single, it proves I only cared about her looks and was shallow. She really went all out trying to guilt trip me. I decided to reply. I asked her, "Well, what exactly do I get that's so special if I forgive her?" She asked me what I meant. I replied, "She cheated on me, left me, and abandoned me without ever considering how I felt. She had kids with another man who you approved of and introduced her to, and you told her I wasn't good enough years ago." Her friend didn't answer me directly. Instead, she sent me a talk to the hand emoji and replied, "You know what? This conversation is over, loser. It's 2023, women deserve better. Goodbye." She couldn't respond when I pointed out how she had played a role in connecting My ex with her now ex-husband, the man who ended up cheating on her. It was clear she had no sense of guilt or accountability for advising my ex to leave me and then pushing her toward someone who treated her even worse. Her friends were toxic. I still feel sorry for my ex because she was naive and easily influenced. It's sad when people can't think for themselves and let their friends dictate their choices, like my ex did. Her friends pushed her into bad decisions, and now they blame everyone else for the fallout. I shut her friend down with the comment about how she introduced my ex to her cheating ex-husband, but instead of acknowledging her role in it, she went on the attack, accusing me of being less of a man. I hadn't even seen this woman in over 15 years, yet somehow I was the one at fault for everything that went wrong. It's just another way for people to deflect responsibility and avoid any self-reflection.